What up, y'all? So today we are doing a reaction video to UFC Fight Night Qatar, Dan Hooker versus Arman Tsarukyan that just ended. We're doing an instant reaction. This card was fun. It was a great card, actually. It was 9 finishes on the card, 5 submissions, and 4 KOs. Some wild, epic fights. Um, as far as finishes are concerned, 5 of the finishes were on the main card, but even the fight that wasn't a finish on the main card was still a good fight. It was still a good fight. One side, a bit one-sided, but you'll find out which one I'm talking. Actually, I'm talking about Ian Garry versus Belal Muhammad. Okay, I'll give it to you. We're gonna start with the main event. We're gonna jump right into it. We have Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker right away, and this I call this. Dan. I'm surprised it actually didn't end in the first round. Arman's grappling is elite, man. You saw his top pressure, and if I'm gonna give it an example, if you think about the Gamrot fight, Gamrot was able to get Hooker down, but he couldn't keep him down. And Gamrot was the guy that beat Arman. Like, you can say it was a robbery all you want, but it was a very close fight, and Gamrot out-grappled Arman. But, he couldn't do anything with Arman's wrestling today. He couldn't do anything with Arman's top pressure. Arman was able to transition a half guard, from guard to half guard to side control. You know what I mean? He was able to pretty much dominate Dan Hooker on the floor. He was landing some devastating ground and pound. Even when in close, he was able to generate a lot of power with some of his those short elbows that he was throwing. So Arman's elite, man. And I really believe that, he deserves the next shot versus Ilia. He really does. I think if it's hard to say because Ilia and Islam are finishing guys, right? So it's hard to put him in that category. But he is very, very good. He's a lead of the. If you're able to beat Charles Oliveira, right, which is like kind of the litmus test, right, for are you as good as an Ilia or Islam? I mean, he's just above Charles, right in that range before Ilia and Islam, I think. I mean, the thing is this. I don't know. Is he gonna be able to get Ilia down? And Ilia, I think Ilia has very, very good takedown defense. I think he's gonna have very good grappling defense. I think he's gonna be able to have Arman in real trouble. I think Ilia might be the worst matchup for Arman. If I were to call it now, I think Arman is Ilia is the worst matchup for Arman because he has a lot of power. I don't think Arman's gonna want to strike with him, and I think he's gonna be able to, if not stuff all takedowns, he's gonna be able to give Arman real trouble taking him down. I don't think it's gonna be easy for Arman to take him down at all. So this is gonna be an interesting one. But for this fight, Hooker just was getting dominated everywhere. In the first round, Hooker started off throwing long teeps and stuff like that. The long jabs to try and keep the fight, trying to keep the range between him and Arman, but Arman started letting his hands go, got him in the clinch, landed a devastating knee in the clinch. Arman was doing work on the feet and on the ground. He gets the fight to the ground with single legs, throws Hooker down, gets him down pretty easily. He's landing these short elbows with the edge of his elbow, just doing real damage. Just hurting Hooker pretty much everywhere the fight was, on the feet, on the ground. I'm surprised the fight went to the second round, and so it goes to the second round, pretty much the same thing. Hooker starts trying to stay rangy, he's trying to use that long teep, and Arman gets in on a single leg and takes him down. Arman is in guard. This is how good this man's ground and pound is. He's in guard, throwing down heavy ground and pound, hurting Hooker badly. You see what I'm saying? So Arman's elite, man. He's very, very good. And if he can get the fight to the ground versus Ilia, who knows? His top pressure is the next thing. Again, Gamrot couldn't hold Hooker down, and Arman held Hooker down no problem. It wet blanketed him. He couldn't get anywhere. The only difference between Arman is when he's on top, he's raining down heavy shots, elbows, punches. He's gonna hurt you. You see what I'm saying? So this was a very, very good showing for Arman, getting a second round. I wish he would have gotten the first, make it more definitive, but getting it in the second is pretty good. He got to finish early. It's a 5-round fight. He got to finish early. So this was good for Arman, man. Very, very good for him. I just think, I mean, it's got to be Arman next. They haven't made the announce a Paddy fight. It has to be Arman next. And I think maybe that's what they were waiting for, to see if Arman was able to get the finish. And if he gets the finish, put him in there. If he doesn't get the finish, put Paddy in there. And I think because Arman gets the finish, I think that's gonna make for a Ilia versus Arman fight. And I can't. I'm gonna have to go back and really study Ilia. Look at his takedown defense. Look at how he handles grapplers. Because Bryce Smith was able to take him down, and we know Arman's grappling and wrestling is light years ahead of even Charles, man. Maybe not the jiu-jitsu grappling aspect, but like as far as takedowns are concerned, I don't know if Ilia can stuff Arman's takedown like he stuffed Charles. I don't know. And then if it gets to the ground, then it's interesting because Arman's ground and pound is elite. Arman's always looking to damage you. He can obviously threaten you with submissions as well. So very, very interesting fight. I think that's the fight to make, Arman versus Ilia. It has to be, right? And then we see what happens from there, man. I mean, I think Arman deserves it now. I mean, he's beaten Charles, who got the last title shot. Now he's beaten Hooker. He was on a run before that. I mean, he's clear and cut the number one guy. And he was number one contender before, but obviously his back was spasming and stuff like that. So clear cut number one contender. I'm looking forward to that fight. I'll do a breakdown of what I think happens there at a later time, but it should make for an interesting matchup. On to the next fight, we got Ian Garry versus Belal Muhammad. Ian Garry inserts himself, and does exactly what I thought he would. I just thought that he was better everywhere. He starts the fight dominating Belal. I mean, he was chewing up Belal's leg. He was staying rangy behind that jab, behind those knee stomp kicks, the side oblique knee stomp kicks. He was, he was keeping. Belal started trying to get to him, and actually was landing some nice, behind that jab too, right? Or that jab overhand. He was trying to get to Ian, and he was landing. Don't get me wrong, but not. The thing is, he just doesn't have any power, and this is what I was saying. Sure, he might touch Ian, but if he doesn't have the power to really hurt Ian, I mean, what is he gonna do? We saw Prates hurt Ian in the 5th round. He really hurt Ian. I mean, and Belal just couldn't do that. So I knew Belal was gonna have trouble in the whole fight. I didn't see where he was better, and then he couldn't land a single takedown. Ian stuffed every single takedown that he attempted. Ian Garry took Belal off his feet several times with that calf kick. He spun him around several times with that calf kick. You know what I mean? And he was just better in all aspects of the fight. I don't think there's one thing that Belal did better today. I don't think Belal got a takedown. I'd have to relook, but I don't think he got a takedown in this fight, and that's not, one. I knew that Ian's grappling was gonna be able to defend versus that takedown. I knew it was gonna be able to stand the test of Belal, and it did. So I just think that I think Ian's a real problem. He inserts himself into a group of competitors in the welterweight division, and he's not right there with the Michael Moraleses, right? The Carlos Prateses. He's right there with the Kamaru Usmans. He's right there with those guys. And, I just named 4 guys, so maybe you do a tournament. Shavkat's even in the mix. Shavkat was there tonight, watching. Shavkat was there tonight. So maybe you do a tournament, right? You do a tournament. Maybe you give Kamaru the next shot. He's a legend. He's been to the top of the mountain. He got his dominant win versus Joaquin Buckley. Maybe it's Michael Morales versus Shavkat, and an Ian Garry versus, well, you can't do Prates again. So maybe it's Michael Morales versus Prates. Well, I guess Ian Garry's fought both guys already. Well, then maybe you do Michael Morales versus Ian Garry, and then you do Shavkat versus Prates. And then, Kamaru Usman fights Islam, and then, I'm saying, whoever gets the most dominant victory out of that 4-man tournament, gets the title shot after that. I mean, it's got to be something like that, because who do you give the clear-cut title shot to? I mean, I personally think it's Michael Morales, just because he's still undefeated. Shavkat's undefeated too, but he's been out for a while. Yeah, I think it's either the tournament or you give it to Michael Morales after maybe a Kamaru. I just don't know. I don't know. Um, but yeah, this fight was yeah, from start to finish was the same thing. I mean, Belal got eye poke. He got poked in the eye twice. I don't know. The second one was kind of questionable. I don't know about that one. Um, yeah, but Ian Garry stayed rangy. He stayed defensive. Um, his head got spun back a few times with that right from Ian Garry, but again, Belal doesn't have power like that, and neither does Garry because Garry landed a couple of standing slicing elbows. He landed some hard shots, man, and just couldn't put Belal away. Well, Belal has a blockhead, so I don't know if it's Ian's lack of punching power or Belal's blockhead. But either way, I don't think Ian has the punching power, and I do think that that's going to be a problem when he gets to guys like Michael Morales. He beat Prates, but Prates almost won that fight. Prates probably fumbled that finish, if you ask me. Fumbled that finish. I do think that Ian Garry would do very well versus Kamaru. For similar reasons to Belal. And Shavkat's there looming on the outskirts. So, I mean, it's just a lot of different competitors in this welterweight division. It's stacked right now. I'm excited to see where it goes. We're going to go on to the next fight. We got Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Manafil. Um, Volkan KOs him in round one. Alonzo just seemed very timid, very aware of the power of Volkan, and he was on the back foot the entire fight. Volkan swarms him up against the cage and just finishes him on and in the first round. So yeah, I do think that Volkan is protects his ranking spot, and Alonzo Manafil, he's a maybe top 15 guy, just outside the top 15. I think that's where he's gonna stay. Volkan, it's interesting. I'm interested to see what's next for Volkan, though. I mean, um, what is his streak right now? Let me look and see what's Volkan's streak right now. So he is on so he beats Walker. He loses so he's won three of his last four. He lost to Olberg, so he's won three of his last four. Maybe get a couple more wins, and then he's right back in the mix. So very powerful guy, has a lot of power, and I call it a second round finish by Volkan, but he got a first. Actually, one of my picks tonight. Let's talk about that for a second. Your boy was so I got the Arman fight right, so I'm 1-1, 1-0. I got the Belal fight right, I'm 2-0. Volkan fight right, 3-0. I got the Myktybek Orolbai fight right, 4-0. Waldo Cortez Acosta, I didn't do that fight because that's not who I thought was gonna fight. It was supposed to be who was Shamil supposed to fight again? I can't remember. Tagir Ulanbekov, Kyoji Horiguchi, I got that one right, so I'm 5-0. I got the Luke Riley fight right, I'm 6-0. I got the Nicholas Dalby fight wrong, so I'm 6-1. I got the Asul Mabayev fight right, so I'm 7-1. I got the Abdul Rahman Yakovlev, so I'm 8-1. 9-1 versus Topuria, I got that right, 9-1. Ismael Nerdav, I got wrong. I think I got that wrong, so I'm 9-2. I got the Nurullo Aliev, so I'm 12-2, and then I got the Denzel Freeman right, so I'm 13-2 on tonight. Damn, I did really good on picks. Let me tell my boy real quick. 13-2 on picks. Yeah, 13-2 on picks so I was cooking tonight. But yeah, so on to the next fight. We got Jack Hermansson versus Myktybek Orolbai. Jack Hermansson, you're cutting weight. So Jack Hermansson went down a division. All right, he went down from middleweight to welterweight, and Myktybek went up from lightweight to welterweight. So they met in the middle. But that's like literally a 3 weight class difference, really, between them if they're in their normal weight classes. And Myktybek sleeps him. Jack looked good early. Myktybek was stalking him, but Jack was keeping him at range using those teeps. He was landing. Jack's not the most powerful guy, so Myktybek just didn't have any respect for his power. Rocked him with, I believe, a straight right down the middle, and then comes over the top. Once he recovers a little bit, comes back over the top and clocks him right in the ear, right in this area. and puts him away. For the second fight in a row, they had to wake up Jack Hermansson. I do think that it's a terrible idea to go down after you just got brutally knocked out like that 5 months ago. You know what I mean? That was a silly, silly move. I mean, I don't know his team what they were thinking. But that was a silly move. Myktybek Orolbai knocked him out viciously. I think I called a second round TKO on this one, or maybe it was a first round. Yeah, it was a first round. So I got this one right to the T. I said it was going to be a first round finish. So, yeah, Myktybek, I'm high on this guy. I think, he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. The fight that he lost was against Rebecca in one of the wars of the century. So, yeah, Myktybek is a problem, man. Myktybek has got a problem, and I think he's going to be a problem. He obviously can bounce between two divisions. I do think he's a little bit of a smaller welterweight, although Hermansson is coming down, so maybe he's not a small welterweight, to be honest. Maybe he could fight both divisions. But welterweight's a beast right now, so I do think that Orolbai is probably better suited in lightweight, even though lightweight's also got some killers there too as well. So we'll see what he does, but I'm interested in this guy, man. He has a good look. He's definitely marketable. I think he has a bright future. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Shamil Gaziev. Yeah, so Shamil starts the fight off strong. I predict this one too. Well, actually, no, I didn't predict this one. He was supposed to fight. Dang, what's the dude's name again? Who cares? So the fight starts, and Shamil is pressing Waldo Cortez Acosta, pressing him up against the fence, backing him up, looking really good, and teeing off on him at times. And I don't know if guys didn't learn from Waldo Cortez Acosta's last fight, but he's timing that counter. Times Shamil Gaziev, drops him, and then Shamil gets back up, I think it was, and Acosta just lands a devastating right straight down the middle and just puts him away. Out cold, badly. Waldo Cortez Acosta takes this fight on 2 days' notice. He's very, very good, man. But this guy is talented. I wasn't high on Waldo at first, man. I was not high on Waldo at first, but yeah, he's proven me wrong. He is very good. Pavlovich is also very good. Just how good is Pavlovich? So I think that this is I would like to see what's next for Waldo. I think, maybe he's one more away from a title shot. But I mean, Sergei just beat him, so it's one of those things where, it's hard to say. But welterweight, heavyweight's starting to look a little bit interesting, man. To be honest, you have some guys in welterweight heavyweight right now that are looking really good. So on to the next one. We got Kyoji Horiguchi versus Tagir Ulanbekov. I was very excited for this fight. I think I was most excited for this fight of any fight because Kyoji Horiguchi is a former title challenger for DJ, and a lot of people like to say, "Oh, the guys of the past, they're surpassed and they're not that good. The sport's evolving." But is it? Because Kyoji Horiguchi, he has like 40 fights. He's been in the game for a minute, and he comes out there and destroys Tagir Ulanbekov. I'm not high on Tagir Ulanbekov, but he destroys this guy. Right? The first round was interesting. It was competitive. First round, Tagir, I think, got a body lock takedown and did some, got some top pressure. But the second round starts, and Kyoji just starts taking off on this dude. Just starts taking off, landing jabs, landing teeps, landing overhand rights, leg kicks. Took Tagir off his feet with a leg kick in the second round. Kyoji took him down, had a great top pressure. Tagir was threatening guillotine, but Tagir was threatening a guillotine, but Kyoji escapes, almost gets his back. Kyoji's landing damaging calf kicks, hurting Tagir Ulanbekov very bad, looking very fast, looking very crafty. He was picking Tagir apart from the second round on. He was picking Tagir Ulanbekov apart. The third round comes. He's throwing like leg kicks shin to shin because at this point Tagir had to switch stances because his leg was getting destroyed. So Kyoji just said, "All right, we'll go shin for shin." Right? Drops Tagir with a hard left hook. And just dropped him over and over again. He dropped him multiple times in that third round and then chokes him out. I think it was a rear naked choke. Yeah. Strangles him out cold too. Like Tagir fell asleep. Kyoji looks good, man. He called for Pantoja. I don't think so. I think maybe the loser of Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I think get him that fight to let's see where he, if he stacks up against how he stacks up against the top guys, and then maybe after that, then we talk Pantoja because he looked very good, and I loved the post fight interview. Doesn't care that Pantoja's on his team. He's gonna kick his ass, and I just love that energy. You know what I mean? Not afraid of the smoke from Pantoja. So very very good fight from Kyoji Horiguchi, man. Lives up to all the hype. I was hearing about this guy. He beat Minoru Kopp. He beat Kai Asakura. He beat Sergio Pettis. I mean, he has some great wins over the years. 40 fights. The guy's been fighting for a minute. Very seasoned guy. So very very good showing for Kyoji, man. Former UFC guy. So just how good as DJ. One of the pioneers of the sport. So when we look back at our GOATs, I mean, we got to start looking at fights like this now to say, okay, well, just how good are these guys? Bogdan Grad versus Luke Riley. Luke Riley gets a vicious left hook KO. Bogdan Grad controlled him in the first round. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. The only difference is Bogdan Grad was able to get him down more than I thought. I thought Luke Riley was going to be able to defend versus those takedowns, but he wasn't. And he sleeps Bogdan Grad with the left hook. Essentially, the first round, Bogdan Grad was getting his takedowns, and he was throwing these wild looping overhands. And I think that was communicated to Luke Riley in between rounds. Luke Riley comes out, times one of the wild looping overhands, and just drops him badly. On to the next. We've got Nicholas Dalby versus Saygid Izagakhmaev. I like Nicholas Dalby a lot, bro. And this is why. Because if you watch the fight, this was one of the most crafty wins you will ever see. The better guy was, like, the more talented guy probably was Saygid. Better striker, more explosive, younger. You know what I'm saying? He trained with Habib. I mean, listen, Habib's about to work that ass. I'll tell you that much right now in training, in practice, next practice. Habib's about to get in that ass. But Nicholas Dalby grabs him, right? He weathers the small storm early. Grabs him, puts him on the fence, and you could see Nicholas Dalby just squeeze the life out of him. Squeeze him. He's just stifling the offense of Saygid. And I got this one wrong, but he's stifling the offense of Saygid, and to the point where the ref had to separate him. But once they separated him, it was in Saygid's head, like, oh fuck, this guy is strong as shit. Strong as shit. So Saygid did not want any of that smoke, and you saw it in his performance. He was very timid the rest of the fight. He was very weary of Dalby's strength, and Dalby was throwing dynamics. He was throwing high kicks, body kicks, leg kicks. He stuffed takedowns. Saygid did start to get takedowns towards the end of the round. He got the Dagestani handcuff, but Dalby was able to work his way back up, and you could see that take the life out of Saygid. Because Saygid was starting to get tired. He was throwing up head kicks to start the second round. Saygid took him down immediately, but Dalby was able to work back to his feet. You could see Saygid starting to get tired. You know what I'm saying? They were battling on the clinch on the fence. Saygid gets another takedown, but Dalby gets a reversal, right? Or actually, no. They work their way back up to the feet, and then Dalby goes for a takedown. Saygid reverses it, gets his back, but Dalby works his way back up. And the same thing happens. Dalby goes for another takedown. Saygid reverses it, gets his back. So I did give Saygid the second round. I thought that Dalby won the first and the third. Dalby just was wearing on him, man. You could see it. The third round starts. He's just wearing on him. And, he just wore him in the clinch. He got the better positions. He was the more active fighter. You could see Saygid trying to catch his breath, and Dalby was just not having any of it. So good win for Dalby, man. Very good win. Very, very good win. I like it. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters, man. He's 41 years old, man, and that's why I thought he was gonna lose, because I know he was game. I knew Dalby was game, but I just thought that with the knockout versus Randy Brown, plus he's 41, I thought that maybe he lost a step, but that clearly was not the case. So good win for Nicholas Dalby, man. Good win. All right, on to the next. We've got Alex Perez versus Asu Amabayev. Greedy win for Asu. He weathered. I mean, I thought that Alex looked good. Alex was landing the better shots the entire fight. Alex got the better takedowns, which I was surprised about. I thought Asu was a better wrestler, but Alex was getting the better takedowns. You know, he came out blitzing Asu early. He took the fight to Asu early. You know, Asu is a wrestler, so he took the fight to him. Didn't give him a chance to get those takedowns that he likes to get. You know, Asu did get a takedown briefly in the first round, but Perez was just pressuring forward, man, most of the fight, pushing down on his head. When they were on the feet, he was pressing forward. Nice leg kick combinations versus Asu. He was chewing up Asu's leg, you know. Yeah, but Perez looked really good. The second round starts. Perez starts aggressive again. Both guys are trading leg kicks. You know, Perez gets his own takedown and he's doing damage on the ground. He's controlling Asu on the ground. Asu, though, in the third round lands a devastating liver shot. I mean, you could see it, man. He hurt, excuse me, hurt Perez badly to the liver. And, yeah, Perez gets the top control again. At some point, they get back to the feet. And Perez goes in for a double leg, throws his head right into a guillotine. And Asu just strokes him out with a via guillotine. After getting, in my opinion, he would have lost at 30-27, potentially 29-28, depending on how he did in the third round. Because Asu did come out with a little bit more sense of urgency in the third round to try and maybe get a finish. And boy, did he get a finish. Guillotine win for Asu Amabayev. I'm excited to see what happens next. Maybe Asu versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I think that would be a good fight. Asu Amabayev versus Kyoji Horiguchi, I think, would be a fun one to watch. Abdul Rahman Yakayev versus Rafael Kakera. Rafael gets dropped badly with the head kick and choked out cold. I mean, it was just, you know, Rafael Kakera, this is it. I think he's going to get cut from the UFC. His 4-fight losing streak. He hasn't won a fight in the UFC. You know, he does have some ability, but you know, you can't win you can't win a fight. You have to get cut, man. So I think his career is done in the UFC. Abdul Rahman Yakayev. He let me see something here real quick. Let me see something on Abdul real quick. I want to see. So he is undefeated. And yeah, I'm actually curious to see what they have next for him. I will have to think about that one, but good win for him, man. To get a brutal KO in the first round like that is pretty impressive. On to the next one, we got Alesandre Topuria versus Beksat Almakan. Topuria did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He controlled the fight. He was a more defensively sound guy. Beksat was throwing more, but Topuria was landing the better shots. You know, Topuria was controlling the octagon. He was walking and he was controlling the pressure of he was pressuring Beksat. You know, Beksat was landing some good shots. He stumbled Topuria in the first round. You know, he stuffed some takedowns of Topuria. It was a very close first round. I still give it to Topuria, but it was a very, very close first round. Round 2 is where I think Topuria started to get the better of Beksat. Topuria gets a takedown. Beksat works his way back up. For most of the takedowns, Beksat was able to work his way back up. You know, he took Topuria off his feet, I think, with a leg kick too. But Topuria was landing some hard overhand. He busted up Beksat's nose. So as far as damage is concerned, you saw that Beksat bleeding. Topuria landed the better shots. Third round comes, he was busting Beksat up even more. He was landing more of those overhand rights. Yeah, he just started to take the fight over second round on. And I think this is a good win for Alesandre Topuria. I think he's going to be special because Beksat's no joke. You know, I don't want anyone to think that Beksat was just let's just give him an easy matchup. No, Beksat's no joke. Beksat, who did he KO in his last fight? He had a vicious KO. Obviously, we know he dropped Umar when they fought, but he KO'd Katona, Brad Katona. I knew it was Brad Katona. I just didn't want to say it just in case I was wrong. KO'd Brad Katona. So Bekzat's good, man. Bekzat's good, you know. But he's 1-2 now. He needs a win. So maybe you give him a easier matchup for his next one. But yeah. Ryan Loder versus Ismael Nerdav. I got this one wrong. Ismael is extremely fast. I'm actually gonna keep my eye on this guy. He's very fast. Sleeps Ryan Loder in the first round with a nice overhand right. Incredible speed. Ryan Loder's trying to like throw hands. It's like, dude, I don't know why these guys. The path of least resistance, man. Why are you trying to strike with this guy when you know your best path to victory is you're the more dominant grappler. You're the more dominant grappler, so use what you have, you know. But he didn't, and he loses by brutal first round KO. Shem Rock versus Nurullo Aliev. So this fight was interesting. Um, Nurullo Aliev wins the fight. Starts off Aliev, you know, he failed a few single legs early. Aliev was blitzing in, it was catching Shamrock. He did this fight happened the exact opposite of what I thought. Like on the feet, it looked like Nurullo Aliev was landing the better shots. Shamrock was backing up most of the fight. I know the threat of the takedown was there, but he just didn't have anything in the way of offense, in my opinion, in the first round. It was a much closer second round. He was landing more leg kicks. He was landing more of those rangy strikes, using his range the way he should have been in the first round. But you know, Aliev was able to get him down. Yeah, it just didn't happen the way I thought it was. The sense of urgency for Shamrock wasn't there. Um, yeah, I mean, he got Aliev, he got in mount position on Aliev briefly in the third round, and looked like he was gonna, you know, kind of run away with it from there. But Aliev was able to reverse position, and yeah, he was able to win the fight by just kind of landing the better shots, getting the better of the grappling scenarios, and just being a little bit better than Shamrock in this fight. On to the next, we got the first fight of the night, Denzel Freeman versus Marek Boljo. Should I even break this? This fight was complete fucking garbage. Garbage fight. Both guys literally threw no punches. Denzel did just a little bit more than Marek Boljo in this fight. It looked like both guys were completely terrified of each other. That's what it looked like to me. Horrible, horrible fight, man. Really bad fight. These guys should both be ashamed of themselves, to be honest. So, yeah. Denzel Freeman gets the victory, but this is nothing spectacular. Just a garbage fight. He's celebrating at the end of the fight. He should be ashamed of himself, honestly. Terrible, terrible fight. That's all I got to say. It's your boy, MMA Mechanic. Like, subscribe, share, bell icon, all the above. Until next time.